Imagine this. It's 1941. The world holds its breath as Hitler's seemingly unstoppable war machine, the Wehrmacht, marches across Europe. Nation after nation has fallen. Now they stand at the very gates of Moscow, the heart of the Soviet Union. The prize is so close, Hitler can almost taste it. He even orders a victory parade to be planned in Red Square. But this is where the story takes a dramatic turn. This wasn't just another battle. This was the moment the myth of German invincibility began to shatter. This is the story of the Battle of Moscow, Hitler's first great defeat. To understand the sheer scale of this clash, we have to go back to June 22, 1941. Hitler launches Operation Barbarossa, the largest land invasion in human history. 3 massive German army groups storm into the Soviet Union. Army Group North pushes towards Leningrad, Army Group South drives into Ukraine, and the most powerful of them all, Army Group Center, has one primary target: Moscow. At first, the German Blitzkrieg, the Lightning War, is devastatingly effective. Their tanks, the Panzers, slice through Soviet defenses. The Luftwaffe commands the skies. Millions of Soviet soldiers are encircled and captured in massive pockets. The cities of Minsk and Smolensk fall. To the German High Command, it seems like the war will be over by Christmas, just as they predicted. The road to Moscow appears wide open, but the Soviet Union is vast. As the Germans advance, their supply lines stretch dangerously thin. Every mile they conquer is another mile their fuel, ammunition, and food have to travel over bombed-out roads and sabotaged railways. And then there's the mud. The autumn rains, known as the Rasputitsa, turn the Russian landscape into an ocean of thick, impassable muck. Tanks sink to their turrets, trucks get stuck, and the lightning war grinds to a halt. For the first time, the German war machine is bogged down not just by enemy soldiers, but by the very earth itself. Despite the mud and the stiffening resistance, the Germans launch their final decisive push in October, codenamed Operation Typhoon. Hitler throws everything he has at Moscow. The initial assault is terrifyingly successful. They break through Soviet lines and encircle hundreds of thousands more troops near Vyazma and Bryansk. The situation is so dire that the Soviet government begins evacuating from Moscow to the city of Kuibyshev. Panic grips the capital. It feels like the end is near. But in this darkest hour, Stalin makes a pivotal decision. On October 19th, he announces he is staying in Moscow. His choice galvanizes the city's defenders. He addresses the nation from Red Square during the traditional November 7th military parade, with soldiers marching directly from the square to the front lines just a few miles away. His famous speech echoes across the freezing city. The whole world is looking to you as the force capable of destroying the plundering hordes of German invaders. Let the heroic image of our great ancestors inspire you in this war. It was a masterstroke of propaganda and a massive morale boost for the defenders. Civilians, including women and teenagers, are mobilized to dig anti-tank ditches and build fortifications around the city. These concentric rings of defense become a deadly maze for the advancing panzers. Every street, every building becomes a potential fortress. The spirit of not one step back takes hold. And then, the Germans' most feared enemy arrives, General Winter. Temperatures plummet to -20, -30, even -40 degrees Celsius. The German army was equipped for a short summer campaign. Their soldiers lack winter coats, proper boots, and gloves. Frostbite becomes as deadly as enemy bullets. Their weapons freeze. The oil in their tanks and trucks turns to sludge. The Luftwaffe is grounded by ice and snow. The Blitzkrieg is frozen solid. While the Germans are freezing, the Soviets are just getting started. This is their home turf. They are used to these brutal conditions. And crucially, Stalin receives intelligence from his master spy in Tokyo, Richard Sorge, confirming that Japan will not attack the Soviet Union from the east. This allows Stalin to take a massive gamble. He transfers his elite, battle-hardened Siberian divisions, fully equipped for winter warfare, from the Far East all the way to Moscow. On December 5, 1941, just as the exhausted German army grinds to a halt within sight of the Kremlin's spires, the Soviets unleash their counteroffensive. Fresh, white-camouflaged Siberian troops on skis, supported by T-34 tanks designed to operate in the cold, slam into the frozen, demoralized German lines. The Germans are caught completely by surprise. They expected a final surrender, not a full-scale attack. The shock is immense. For the first time in the war, the Wehrmacht is not advancing. It is running. The counterattack pushes them back, 100, then 200 kilometers from Moscow. The retreat is chaotic and brutal. The myth of German invincibility is broken, shattered in the Russian snow. Hitler is furious. He sacks many of his top generals, including the commander of Army Group Center, and takes personal command of the army, a decision that would have disastrous consequences for Germany later in the war. The Battle of Moscow was a turning point. It wasn't the end of the war, not by a long shot. Years of brutal fighting still lay ahead. But it proved that Hitler's army could be stopped and beaten. It saved the Soviet capital, boosted Allied morale across the globe, and ensured that the Soviet Union would stay in the fight. Without this victory, the entire course of World War II might have been different. It was a battle won not just by tanks and guns, but by incredible resilience, immense sacrifice, and the unyielding power of a people defending their homeland against impossible odds. The frozen fields outside Moscow became the graveyard of Hitler's dream of a swift victory and the beginning of his ultimate downfall. It was a testament to the fact that even the most powerful armies can be broken by courage, determination, and a very, very cold winter. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back in time. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next historical deep dive. Let me know in the comments what battle you'd like to see covered next. Until then, stay curious.